Hey guys, good afternoon. It is John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur, or good morning or good evening, depending on when you're watching this. It's great to have you here on Inspirations for Your Life. You know that today, Saturday, March 8th, 2025, kicks off a brand new master topic. So I'm so grateful that everyone is here with me. Do check out believemeachieve.com for more of my amazing, inspiring creations. And you can check that out at believemeachieve.com. Our master topic for the week is mastering life gratitude, growth, and inner strength. We're on series 4. This is basically show 11. The episode today is episode number 1. And really good topic that we have here today to kick this all off. All right, everyone. So if you haven't had a chance to visit your fridge, maybe you want to go do that, get something hot, get something cold, get something to snack on, something healthy or something not, and hurry back. All right. So welcome to the Inspirations for Your Life podcast, where I am your host, John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. I'm not only a podcast host, but also a podcast coach. And welcome, everyone. It is a privilege and pleasure to be with you today or tonight or whenever you're tuning in. Gratitude, ladies and gentlemen, isn't just a good feeling that we have or an emotion that we celebrate. It's a powerful force that shapes our perspective and strengthens our resilience and fuels success in every area of our life. When we shift our focus from what's lacking to what's present, we open the doors to greater joy, deeper relationships, and an abundance mindset that propels us forward. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about how we explore the transformative impact of gratitude and how you can incorporate it into your daily routine for a more fulfilling, balanced life. So let's dive in, everyone. Great to have you here. Welcome once again. Number 1, recognizing the positives in every situation. Life is full of ups and downs, but no matter what happens, there's always something to be grateful for, whether it's a lesson learned from a mistake or unexpected kindness from a stranger or simply having another day to grow. Recognizing the positives helps shift our mindset. When we train ourselves to look for silver linings, okay, which is not easy to do, we become more optimistic and better equipped to handle life's challenges. This practice helps reduce stress, increase resilience, and foster a more positive outlook overall. By making gratitude a habit, we rewire our brains to see the good in every moment, no matter how small that good is. I think sometimes we're always looking for, that milestone that's so large, but we forget to celebrate, those little ones along the way. I think that's a very important thing for everyone to understand, is that it's all about celebrating, right? It's all about celebrating. And I think people sometimes don't get this because they get stuck in other places in their life. I think that's probably the point. So I want to make sure everyone understands that we need to be present in our life, right? We have to be present and we have to recognize the positives in every single situation. Number 2, shifting focus from what's missing to what is present. Many of us fall into this trap of always looking ahead, chasing the next achievement, possession, or milestone without appreciating what we already have. This mindset can leave us feeling constantly dissatisfied and stuck in a cycle of never enough. Missing to what's present allows us to find contentment and peace in the here and the now. Instead of thinking about what you lack, take a moment each day to reflect on what you already have: your health, relationships, skills, experiences, etc. When we shift our attention to this focus, it changes our way and we become more fulfilled and free from pressure of the things in our life. And we're able to grow. All right. So we become basically, if you will, abundantly full of compassion. Number 3, enhancing emotional resilience through appreciation. We've talked about the importance of appreciation before, haven't we? But it's no small lesson. We have to be be grateful, I should say, for everything we have. So, enhancing, the emotional resilience through appreciation. Gratitude is a powerful tool for emotional resilience. When we have difficult times in our life, it strengthens our ability to bounce back from adversity. Instead of getting overwhelmed by challenges, gratitude helps us focus on what's still working in our lives. It reminds us that setbacks are temporary and that we have overcome hardships before. By cultivating a gratitude practice, we develop inner strength and a more balanced emotional state, making us better equipped to handle future obstacles. In a sense, gratitude becomes a stabilizing force that keeps us grounded during life's storms. I think that's a very, very important thing for everyone to understand. It keeps us grounded during these storms and allows us to make the changes that we need to make. Number four, strengthening relationships by expressing gratitude. Let me say this again, strengthening relationships by expressing gratitude. That might seem like something that makes no sense, but the truth of the matter is that when you express gratitude, whether to yourself or to others, it's like magic starts to happen. Magic starts to unfold in your life. All right. And when I say magic, it's like there's suddenly a willingness when there wasn't that willingness in the past. Change your perspective and how things change in your lives. So when we think about a perspective, okay, for whatever reason that is, maybe it's the fact that it's really just a perception in our life. All right. It's something that we want to have in our lives. And when we get this, I think it sort of changes the way we approach life. All right. It changes the way we approach life. And if we change the way we approach life, even if it's just one little thing, okay, then I think we can make some huge, huge differences. I mean, really, really huge. All right, moving on to our next point, ladies and gentlemen, is that when we know that we strengthen, before I do that, I want to let you know that it isn't just about what we feel internally, okay? It's about how we express gratitude in relationships, foster the deeper connection, get that feedback, whether it's thanking a friend for their support, recognizing a colleague's hard work, or simply telling a loved one how much they mean to you. These small moments of gratitude can strengthen bonds and improve communication. People who feel valued and appreciated are more likely to reciprocate similar feelings back, leading to stronger, more fulfilling relationships. A simple thank you or I appreciate you can go a long way in making someone's day and solidifying meaningful connections. Number five, turning challenges into learning experiences. Difficulties are inevitable, but gratitude allows us to see them through a lens. Okay. And so what happens is instead of viewing on the challenges as a setback, we recognize them as opportunities for growth. When we adopt a mindset of appreciation, we begin to ask ourselves, what can I learn from this experience rather than why is this happening to me? Is really the main crux. Okay. Every obstacle we face holds valuable lessons that can make us wiser, stronger, and more prepared for future endeavors. The most successful people in the world didn't avoid challenges. They embraced them and found ways to turn them into stepping stones for success. Gratitude helps us transform difficulties that propel us forward. Number six, boosting overall happiness and well being. Scientific studies have consistently shown that gratitude has a direct impact on our happiness and overall well being. When we choose to focus on what we're grateful for, our brain releases dopamine and serotonin, neurotransmitters that promote positive emotions and reduce stress. Practicing gratitude on a daily basis can lead to lower levels of anxiety, better sleep, and an overall sense of well being. It's simple yet effective this way that we can enhance mental health and increase life satisfaction, whether through gratitude journaling, meditative reflection, or simply expressing appreciation out loud. The benefits of gratitude are undeniable. The more we make gratitude a habit, the happier and healthier we become. Number seven, cultivating a mindset of abundance over scarcity. This is a hard one, believe it or not, for a lot of people to understand. Um, I think some people just don't. I just don't think they get it. Okay, and when I say they don't get it, um, they just don't get it, and so they don't get it because they've been living in a scarcity mindset. It keeps us trapped in fear, believing that opportunities, resources, successes are limited, but they're really not. It's a perception. Gratitude shifts us into an abundance mindset where we recognize that there is enough for everyone and that we already have more than we often realize. When we appreciate what we have, we stop feeling like we're in competition with others and start celebrating our own and other successes. This perspective creates a more fulfilling life where we embrace possibilities instead of focusing on limitations. Gratitude fuels confidence, uh, creativity, and of course, generosity. Key ingredients for long term success and, of course, our happiness. So, incorporating these practices consistently can create a culture where acknowledgement, gratitude, and celebration fuel growth, satisfaction, and, of course, ladies and gentlemen, high performance. High performance. I think many people believe that the way they see things is the way they are, like forever. So, I got my inspiration for today's show and the entire week's set of shows from the Bible, from Sunday, March 9th, 2025's passages. So, number one, when we talk about, the first thing we talked about today, which is to really help us to recognize the positives in our life, right? Recognize those positives. And we have to do that in every situation. So the Bible passage that I want to quote is uh, Colossians verse 5:18. Give thanks in all circumstances, for this is the will of God in Christ Jesus for you. Close quote. So gratitude turns what we have into enough, into more than enough. Okay. Number two's point from a Bible passage, Philippians 4:6. Shifting focus from what's missing in our life to what's present. Quote, do not be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. Philippians 4:6. Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and supplication. So I know what you're probably saying to me, John. So what is supplication according to Merriam Webster? Well, that would be a great question. So to supplicate, okay, supplication is a verb. Supplicate is to make a humble entreaty, to ask humbly and earnestly of, to ask for earnestly and humbly ways. Okay. So the transitive verb is characterized by having or conditions hold between a first element and a second, between the third element and a third, it holds between the first and the third elements. So when we think about supplicate, right, to make a humble entreaty, to pray to God. So what is it entreaty? Well, An entreaty, another word for, I guess, for an entreaty would be a plea, a petition, a desire, a demand, a suppliance, an appeal, a prayer, a cry, a solicitation, a conjuration, or a requisition, an application, insistence, a call, a suit, a cry, a claim. So there was also a verse, when two or more are gathered in his name, I will deliver. So, an important quote by Marcus Tullius Cicero, quote, gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues, but the parent of all others. Marcus Tullius Cicero is the one that came up with this idea. And number three, enhancing emotional resilience through appreciation. The Bible passage we picked for this is Philippians 4:4. Quote, rejoice in the Lord always. Again, I will say, rejoice. Rejoice in the Lord always. Again, I will say, rejoice. So the other quote here is gratitude is the most powerful emotion. It has the ability to strengthen us through difficult times, close quote. Number four, strengthening relationships by expressing gratitude. The Bible passage I chose for this is Thessalonians 5:11. Therefore, encourage one another and build one another up, just as you are doing now. I think too many times people put others down because they're afraid they're going to get too ahead of them, or there's not going to be enough for me because they got ahead. That's a bad problem to have, right? Number five, turning challenges into learning experiences. Turning challenges into learning experiences. That's a very that's an interesting one. Okay. The Bible passage on this I chose was Romans 5, verse 3-4. Not only that, but we rejoice in our sufferings, knowing that suffering produces endurance, and endurance produces character, and character produces hope. Let me say that again. Okay. Suffering produces endurance. Endurance produces character. Character produces hope. That's a pretty powerful quote. Very powerful. Boosting overall happiness and well-being. The passage I chose for this is Nehemiah, verse 8:10. Quote, the joy of the Lord is in your strength, close quote. Quote, the gratitude is in the healthiest of all human emotions. The more you express gratitude for what you have, the more likely you will have even more to express gratitude for. Close quote. You know where that came from? Mr. Zig Ziglar. Zig Ziglar. And so understanding these insights, I think, are very powerful, because if we can align with these insights, we can make some huge changes in our life. But I don't want you to think that it's like flipping a light switch. There is a little bit of work that goes into this. There is a little bit of work. And so when we understand that we can't get somewhere, what we have to do is figure out, we have to ask the question of how, right? We have to ask the question of how do we get there? And sometimes that how is not something we know right away. Okay? It's not something we know right away. Number 7, cultivating a mindset of abundance over scarcity. Cultivating a mindset over abundance over scarcity. That's a tricky one, right? Cultivating a mindset of abundance over scarcity. The Bible passage I picked for this is Philippians 4:19. Quote, and my God will supply every need of your according to his riches and glory in Christ Jesus. So again, quote, And my God will supply every need of yours according to his riches in glory in Christ Jesus. So if you're not Roman Catholic, then it's your creator. If you're Jewish, it's God or whoever you believe in. But you've got to believe that scarcity just harms you. And the quote from that is by Wayne Dyer, rest his soul. Abundance is not something we acquire, it's something we tune into. I love that. So when we tune into the frequency, it's almost like, you want to tune into rock and roll, you tune into that radio station. You want to turn into love songs, you tune into that radio station. So we tune into what it is that we want to be listening to. We tune into the frequency of what we want. That's interesting. We tune into the frequency for what we want. So we've learned a lot here today. We know that gratitude is more than just saying thank you. It's a transformative mindset that shifts how we perceive the world around us when we take the time to recognize the positives in every situation. We reframe challenges as opportunities and setbacks as lessons. By focusing on what we have rather than what we lack, we create a mindset of abundance that fuels both personal and professional growth. This shift in perspective not only enhances our emotional well being, but also strengthens our ability to handle life's ups and downs with resilience and grace. Grace, that is so powerful. Beyond personal benefits, gratitude has a profound impact on our relationships. Expressing appreciation deepens our connections and the bonds that we foster for the trust and that mutual support. When we acknowledge the value others bring into our lives, we build stronger bonds and encourage a culture of kindness. Whether in the workplace, at home, or our communities, ladies and gentlemen, gratitude serves as a bridge that unites people, turning simple interactions into meaningful exchanges. Ultimately, cultivating gratitude is a powerful key to lasting happiness and fulfillment. It allows us to find joy in the present moment, celebrate progress rather than dwell on imperfections, and view life through a lens of possibility rather than scarcity. By embracing gratitude daily, we invite more peace, purpose, and the positivity to flow into our lives, proving that true abundance isn't about having more, but appreciating more. Huh. So abundance starts from within. And I'm going to tell you, it starts within our heart, right? I've talked about the heart being so powerful. I won't get into too much of that today, but our heart controls what we get more than our brain does. Our brain can influence our heart, but it's our heart that creates the energy to make it happen. That's so powerful, ladies and gentlemen. Gratitude. Gratitude is not that only feel good emotion, it's a powerful force. It shapes our perspective, our strength, builds our resilience. Do you recognize the positives every day? Or you go around saying, oh, this never happens to me. I never get this. I never get that. That's not a good mindset to be in, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just being completely honest with you. I'm being completely honest. And if that is the case, then we have potential in our life. If we could shift the focus from what's missing to what's present, it's like what we think is missing is really not missing, right? What's missing becomes an optical illusion. So our life is shaped by perceptions, ladies and gentlemen. It's shaped by perceptions. So does that mean we just think it and it happens? Not quite. But when we align with this, here's what happens. We start to see things that we didn't see before. We start to see things that we never saw far, that we never knew was possible. So if we just change our perspective, just our perspective, that's all we have to change. So we have something called our RAS, or reticular activating system. And it wasn't designed to make us successful. Sorry, news alert. It was designed to keep us safe and alive. But we can modify it. We can push it over the edge a little bit, not off a cliff, but just make it a little uncomfortable. And then eventually, guess what happens? It readjusts and the uncomfortable becomes comfortable. So we have to practice getting comfortable being uncomfortable. We have to practice getting comfortable being uncomfortable. We have to practice getting comfortable being uncomfortable. That sounds so easy, doesn't it? It does. So the question is, why? If it's so easy to focus on gratitude, why don't more people do it? That's a really, really great question. I mean, like a really, really good question, not just a basic question, but I mean, a really good question. And so when we think about this, right, we think about the fact that everything is possible, it comes down to a few things. One, people don't do this because of the fact of negativity bias. Our brains are wired to focus on our threats and problems for survival, making it easier to dwell on what's wrong. All right. Comparison, fast paced living, unrealistic living, emotional habits, fear of complacency. Right. I think that's a very, very important thing, ladies and gentlemen. And lack of awareness. I think that's a very, very important thing, too. All right, guys, we'll catch you on another show. Check out